Hello everybody, Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove. Got a little bit of a surprise today. We had a box dropped off at our driveway. Actually, we weren't expecting this for 6 more days. And it actually showed up today. So we figured, why not do a video? Because it's been years since we done a video on one of these. And the videos will be on Deep South Homestead if you want to find a video on it. But this one, I hadn't even taken it out of the box yet. It's been several years since we've done a video on this. So I told Wanda, I said, you know what? It may be different now. I don't know. Maybe the same thing. But a lot of y'all probably have not seen it. It's called Worm Factory 360. We've actually had one of these for, oh my goodness, back here behind me for many, many years. Over at Deep South Homestead, I had it in my farmall barn over there, and we raised our worms in the barn over there. And when we moved over here to Pecan Grove, we moved it with us. And I've been using they call it Leachate, leachate, and we call it worm tea. And it says
leaching.
If technically, I'm going to give you the rundown on it. If it makes more than a couple of ounces a week, then it's too wet. Well, I'm here to tell you, mine makes more than that, and my worms are doing just fine. And I have to do the disclaimer. United States Department of Agriculture says that you are not, this is fine to use on ornamental fruit trees and stuff like that, but do not use it on garden vegetables, any edible crops. Supposedly there's a bacteria that can get on your stuff from it. It's harmful to the human system. I've been doing this for a long time, and I haven't had any problems with it. You know, I don't pour it over my plants. I just put it on the ground around the bottom of them. So let's look here and see. This pretty much looks the same as the old one does. This should be the lid. It tells you on the lid the food lists that you can use. It tells you things that do not use. It gives you the temperature ranges, all that kind of stuff on it. Moisture, temperature, how to feed them, all that kind of stuff. And most of all, it's made in the USA. Now, I don't know if that means anything or not, but
well, they may have put a sticker on it in the USA, and it might have been assembled somewhere else.
Might have been somewhere else. Who knows? But here we have the base to it. Now, just like the other one, the base came with the spigot, not in it. Nothing to hooking it up. It's very simple. You got two rubber washers, or let's just say a rubber washer, I guess I should say, and a jam nut. And you just stick it through the hole if it's like my other one. And a lot of people would say, oh, you probably need to get the instructions out. I have had my other one for years. I well remember putting it together. And I don't think I should have an issue.
That hasn't changed much.
They pretty much, I mean, I'll look at it here. No, it pretty much looks the same. Okay, now, I have mine up on concrete blocks back here, sitting on boards, because it's actually a little bit bigger than the concrete blocks are. So I have some boards there that I sit it on, but I have concrete blocks under them to kind of help distribute the weight. Now this piece right here is like it's a ladder. In case the worms fall down into here where the water's at, this is a worm ladder. The worms can get on this right here and crawl back up and get back into the trays. Now, this is something new right here that we've not had before. Well, they really skimp on stuff. Ours never came with this. That is a tray to go underneath the spigot, I'm assuming there. We don't need that right now. You should get 4 trays in this. We bought the 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we bought the 4 tower one. So here's what's going to happen. They say, if I remember correctly, that oh, they even sent a thermometer with this one. We didn't get a thermometer with the other one.
Upgrades.
Upgrades. How about that? Actually, they talk about putting one tray in at a time and putting worms in it, and once the worms has been in it for a while, then add another tray, and it's called, the worms, when they finish this tray, they will migrate up, and then you take this tray out and use the worm castings from it. I have found the way I do it, I just go ahead and put all the trays on there, and I put the worms in the middle, and I have had very good success with it. So
I saw some of the worms a while ago.
yeah, you done seen the worms, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what's going to happen. We have in this plastic tote right here, this was a worm bin that I helped an elderly gentleman make. He kept newspapers, grocery scraps, table scraps. He kept all kind of stuff in there because I told him what he could put in here and what he could not put in here. And he was excited about it. He used it. Oh, he loved it. And because he couldn't afford one of these. He was just on Social Security. And he said he couldn't afford to do one of these. So I showed him how to actually make.
This is actually 2.
Yes. Now this one is full of
teat
in the bottom. Matter of fact, this here probably weighs about 80 pounds right now. I had a handful of moving it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to gradually move this over, and I'm going to pour it in there. Now, there's probably, I don't know if there's any worms left in this or not, because I went through it here a while back when the grandkids was here, and I got fishing worms out of it for us to fish with. Now, let me say this. I don't do the little tiny red wigglers that you order online. Now, I understand they probably compost really good, and there's hundreds of thousands of them in there. I go to the bait store, and I buy the big live red worms, the big ones. And I have had fantastic results with those, mainly because when we go fishing at the pond here on the property, I can come out here and get fish bait. And when you use little tiny red wigglers, you can't get them on the hook. Can't get them on a hook. The hook's as big as they are. So
we're going to show them some of these worms.
I'll show you some there in a minute. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill this baby up. And it's still good and moist. I'm really surprised. I haven't added any water to this in quite a while. But now it rains, and it was sitting right here when the rain does.
It ain't rained in I don't know when. So.
But it hasn't evaporated out, I can tell you that.
That's really good.
Yeah, there's old newspapers and stuff. Y'all see these old newspapers in here and stuff? Oh, look at there. There we go.
There's a worm.
Look at there. Look right there.
They're hid up in there.
They hid up in there, them little babies. How about that? So we do have some worms in it. All right.
Still got it. You didn't find all of them when you was fishing.
I didn't get them all, did I? There's probably some eggs in here. They're hatching out.
And that's all you need is to get them started.
Yeah.
They just keep on growing.
They just keep on growing.
And producing.
Look at that. Man, I'm excited now because there's probably more in there I'm just not seeing. And I don't pack it down. Now, worms need something to... Yeah, a worm has a crawl just like a chicken does. Most people don't realize that. When they eat, they have to have sand or rock and stuff like that to be able to digest stuff. So they have sent stuff here with this. This is called pumice. Yeah, this is the pumice here, which I call it rocks, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they... You don't want no plastic in there, that's for sure. There we go. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of this pumice here. What is it? Does it say something on here? It says, increases airspace in worm bedding, reduces matting, and improves moisture control. So there we go. I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to just I'm going to just sprinkle it over the top of it like that. They don't give you a lot of it here. And we got 4 trays, so I'm not going to...
You're supposed to put all that in one and then buy some more.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. But this has already been kind of broken down. And then they give you what's called rock dust here. Now, if you don't have rock dust and you want to make your own, just like I showed Mr. D here how to do, go out there somewhere and get you a shovel full of white sand. That's what I told him. Worked fine. Now, we're going to take this here, if I can get it open. There we go. This rock dust.
Rock dust?
Rock dust. How about that? We're going to take a look.
Gotta love advertising.
Oh, you gotta love my ability to advertise. There we go. Woo! We're going to put a little bit of that in every tray. So we're going to... Now, hand me the fork there, baby, if you will, right at your feet.
It comes with its own fork.
Yeah, it comes with its own worm-grabbing fork here. Now that I have this, what I'll do is I'll take this and just kind of... I'll move it around in there. You know, mix it in. A little bit like that. Now, if this was... And I'll show you in a minute how we're going to do the fresh. But this one's already been set up and is loosened up. This is actually a dadgum yellow flies. This is most of this is mostly peat moss right here is what most of this is, and it's already had some papers and eggshells and vegetable scraps. All that's already been kind of pre-broken down into it. So here's what I do. Once I get a layer, I get the market bulletin, guys. That's what this is. I take one page out of it, and I've learned that this helps to maintain the moisture in that. And I have my little magic wand right here behind me, and I'll take this and just kind of like, I don't put much water in there, just a little bit. And they say that the worms like to have everything ground up and in as small of pieces as possible. I've been doing this for years. I just lay this newspaper in there, and trust me, they know what to do with it. Plus, this kind of helps hold the moisture down. I lay it just like this right here. And that's the way I start my worm bin off. Now, today we're going to do something a little unorthodox. And it's not what I would call ethical. If you're going to be doing just this and you don't have another worm bin like I do, then I advise you go to the store and buy your worms. I'm not going to the store and buy no worms because I don't need to. So what I'm going to do today, that's my top tray. It don't have many worms in it. This is my next tray here. This tray I'm going to move over here too. Oh, here, that's got a little bit too much in it there. Those things are very heavy, guys.
Once they get wet and start
Okay,
breaking.
I'll use this one. Let's just use this one.
You gonna break it up and show worms?
I am, just a minute here. Let me put this one back. Now, let's take a look and see what we got going on here. Look at this here. I'm trying to get it where this thing is full of just
baby worms. Now, where's the big ones we saw earlier?
Oh, they're in the very bottom of the other tray. This is the baby worms that's just now hatching out. So what we're going to do, we're going to put them in here, and I'm going to kind of scratch this around a little bit. And I'm going to add, oh, there's one right there. Where'd he go?
They disappeared, Tom.
They're so elusive in here.
They don't want you to see them. They go underground.
Yeah, I got orange peelings in here. I got all kind of stuff in here. The worms has really been working on this one here now.
Yeah, it's compacted. It's about ready to come out and be.
Yeah, it's about ready to be used here. We're just trying to get some more worms started here. Let's take and
there's a big one. You just
There he is right there. There's one of them right there. He's growed up.
He's not as big as what I saw earlier.
The other ones is in the bottom over there. If we have time, I'll show you what the bottom of that one looks like. But they're in this stuff here.
You're not going to put any in the bottom? You're just going to let them go to it?
They'll go to it.
Okay.
They're going to go wherever the food's at. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's just full of worms. Now, let's take this. The sand's probably about gone in these. Let's put this on here. Let's put a little bit more of the pumice in here.
And they did send you some shredded up paper.
Yeah, I'm fixing to use it. I'm gonna put a little bit of each in each one of them. Now, the other one below it, I used my own paper. Now this one, I'm gonna use. This is the way they recommend. Now we have a shredder in the office, in the house, but I'm gonna take this and just. This is what they like. Now that don't use any brightly colored papers, you know,
with a gloss on
like
it.
with a gloss on it or anything. Try to use papers with natural ink in it. Okay, we're back here at the eggplants now. This is what happens when eggplants leaves lay on the ground here.
Bugs start eating them.
The bugs start eating them. So we come in and try to take off all these old big leaves like this because they serve the plant absolutely. They do nothing for the plant. So we've got this, and this, believe it or not, is great worm food. All right, we have our leaves that we took off of the eggplants, and I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna lay them in here like so. We're gonna take another one of these trays, get them apart here. Now, don't worry too much about this. This is going to sink down into that eventually.
Like the others.
Like the others. Now, right now it's up above it, but don't let that bother you. Before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and, in the middle, I'm going to mix in some of this here. Still got two more to go there. Let's put a little bit of this in there. Remember, sand will work just as good. I'm going to put a couple of leaves down in the middle of this. And a little bit of paper. We're going to give them plenty to eat on. The thing I like about doing it this way, I have a limited amount of time, so I don't have to be worried about coming out here constantly worried about feeding my worms, because my worms will feed themselves.
And we put food scraps like,
oh yeah,
from the vegetables, the ends off the vegetables, the peelings off the fruit. Yep. Anything like that goes in there. Now, we don't put cooked food in these. We hadn't been putting cooked food at all.
No, only fresh vegetables.
You can do pancakes, pasta, rice, pizza crust, cereal, crackers, stale bread. But we don't do most of that, so we don't have it.
we don't do most of that. Now I'm going to take my water and just lightly, just to make sure there's a little bit of moisture in it. You don't want much. And my newspaper. I like to seal off each individual tray unit.
That seems to work a lot better than just shredding paper and sticking in there.
This here seems to be what I have found. Now you can use brown paper bags if you go like you used to. When you go to the grocery store, you get these brown paper bags. You can use those.
All right, this is the fourth one tray on this one. And you're about to empty this one, so you can start this one over again if you want to. And have another worm bin.
Alright, there's all of that one. Another reason I do it this way is if I happen to be in town and I decide to stop by the bait shop, I can pick up worms. I can just bring one of those boxes per tray and we're good to go.
That gives fresh worms when we take some out for fishing.
Yeah.
Plus they're making their own little worms and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, they make their own little worms. The last one filled up with the soil now. And then what I do at the top, I go ahead and put one more sheet at the top. What this does, I have learned, is it also helps keep it from drying out. And it helps control the heat. Because we're in a high tunnel here, and it gets to be quite hot in this high tunnel. And I wet the paper on the very top one. I just lightly wet that paper. And this being true paper, it absorbs the water very instantly and very quickly. This one is actually complete, so we're going to take the lid and we're going to actually sit it back up on top of here. That worm factory is ready to go. Now I still have a tray left here.
Because we borrowed one from the other one.
We borrowed one from over here. So I'm going to set this one on top of here. You can cut that box up that this come in and put it in here. This is the kind of worms that it is right here we use for fishing. The big old worms like that. And you will be able to see them here if I dig down. Like, see this one here? The big old worms, they're really big, nice fishing worms. Look at them. Each one of them probably weighs about 25, 30 pounds a piece, just in case y'all are wondering.
Yeah, them little legs is bowed on that one there.
All right, this is coconut coir. We're going to take that off of there. And that stuff, see how hard it is? Y'all guys see that right there? That stuff is extremely hard. I'm going to drop it in a 5-gallon bucket right here. I'm going to break it up. Now this is what they send with it. Now, over here, I just happen to have coconut coir that I ordered a long time ago. And it's done been, don't ask me how it got busted up in this box, because I don't know.
You could use that paper there.
That paper can go in the worm factory right there. Yeah, don't ask me how this happened right here, because I have no idea. But I have a bunch of bricks of coconut coir here. Let me dump that in there right quick.
You don't need a whole one, you just need some.
I need to empty out what got busted up in here, though. I don't know how. Oh, we've had a mouse in there. No wonder.
They've been breaking it up for you.
Yeah, how about that? I see the hole in it there where they've done been in there. So let's just take this and put it out in there.
They turning it into mush.
They broke it up for me, let's see. And we're going to fill this bucket up with some water here. Now, I'm not worried about putting too much water, because I'll assure you that a coconut coir becomes alive. Watch it. Look at it. Look how fast it's soaking up that water. Looks like Jiffy Pop popcorn. Let's see what we got here now.
Mush.
It ain't. Still got
some
powder in it.
Powder in it. So you got to add some more. It's getting there.
Dump it all around this way. Dump it all around that way.
So you got some sludge.
I got some mushy mush stuff here. Now it's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit too wet right now. We're going to add some more stuff into it here in a little while. So. This is how the coconut coir comes when you order it, and the big bulk things.
In a brick.
Comes in a brick. You can see where it's been broke. It breaks up. Really, it's not too hard to break up, but now that we have it pretty moist, I don't want to get more than what the worm bin's going to hold. Let it be absorbing it. Now there are no worms in this right now. This is all just fresh coconut coir. I'm going to put the rest of the rock dust in this one. That's all over. We're going to put the rest of the ground up newspapers in the middle of this. That's all over.
And this has some worms in it. The bottom of it had quite a few worms in it.
Yeah.
So we're adding worms to this one as it goes. I can see them from here. See them down in there. I need one of those tomato plants.
And that has sand and everything in it right there. So, all right. Now, once again, I'm gonna go ahead and lay me one across the top here, and I'll just kind of lightly. I'll wet the paper enough that it'll start absorbing. You don't want to put dry paper. I mean, you want it to be wet. So what I'm going to do is, now that I got that kind of damp, I'm going to come back and wet this, because we had all that dry paper in the middle of that. Now, I'm going to put this lid back on here. And now that we've had time for the other one to set for a few minutes, I'm actually going to take the paper back off of it. And remember, we put a lot of dry paper in the middle of these. This water will go down from this one into the next one. I'll put my paper back on top of it. Put my lid back on. Done. We have two of them. Almost like beehives sitting beside each other.
Worm factories.
Worm factories. Look at that. This one is getting pretty close to the point to where I'm fixing to have to take all the worms out of it and use the worm castings in some of our pots and VEGO beds and stuff like that, because this one's been going about 4 months now, probably.
Yeah, you probably moved it 4 or 5 months ago.
About 4 or 5 months ago, it's been going, and it's about time. Now, I did put the new tray in here. What we'll do is we'll keep the new tray
and swap out
we'll
one
swap
of the
out
old.
these three here. I still have plenty of coconut coir to replace them with. I'll go through and take the worms out of them and put the worms over into the new coconut coir. Now, there will be some worms and some worm eggs left in the worm castings, and when we put them into the VEGO beds, all that does is puts the worms in the VEGO beds also, plus the worm castings, and the VEGO beds get composted down, because this stuff here, guys, this has not been broken down yet. It's got a lot of bark and wood chips and all in it. It'll take another year. You see how full this bed is now? In a year from now, this thing will be down another 4 inches by fall or something like that, and it'll be time to actually add more stuff in it. Now, they sent a thermometer with this one, they didn't send a thermometer with the last one. This,
What does the temperature on top of the lid say it needs to be?
between 40 and 80, I think.
Well, it's 100 in here. No, it's probably...
Yeah, it's between 40 and 80.
Check the old one. Stick it just in one of the old ones.
This is the temperature.
It's not in optimal. It's a little on the warm side. But
We're a little on the warm side, but it's about 100 degrees out here right now, it feels like.
the humidity.
It's the humidity right now is what it is. It's not that hot. It's probably 89 or something. Oh, it's just the humidity. So I'm kind of pleased with the fact that even though the temperature in the high tunnel in here, well, let me look. We'll show it right here right quick.
What is it?
88, 89 degrees.
And that's about what it was in
That's what this was right here when we just shot it. It's 88 or 89 degrees. You can't really expect that worm bin. And this is open. This is not closed in. The walls are all open. I mean, it's just like sitting outside out there. And this with a 40% shade cloth on top of us. Actually, this is probably the prime location for it because it is shaded in here. And you can't expect that thing to be any cooler because it's black plastic than the outside temperature is. I mean, it's just, that's common sense.
Unless you're going to put it in a
you'd have to have it in a climate controlled
like
environment.
basement type thing.
Yeah. And I mean, and I've not had any problems, guys. I think
now you got to keep it some moisture in there.
you do have to keep the moisture in it. Now,
don't let them just dry slam out because the worms will die.
The worms will die if it's too moist, and the worms will die if it's too wet. You got to kind of find that happy medium, and I've pretty much learned it because of just fooling with them as much as I do. And it may be different for your environment. Let me say that. If you live up north where it's colder all the time and it's cooler all the time,
they won't have to add water very often.
You probably won't have to have that much water. And you'll probably want to put it in a high tunnel to help heat it up because it gets too cold for them. So, I mean, you know this thing is accurate. I'm sitting here holding it in my hand, and my hand temperature is hotter, which is hotter than, it is 96 degrees, my hand's temperature. So, 98.6 is supposed to be the body temperature. So, and my hands is not even tight on it. So, I got to get the worm tea out of this. That's going to be the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take the worm tea, and I'm going to put it around all the plants in here. I'm sorry about what they say about not doing it, but I'm going to do it. I've always done it. And
actually, with our humidity and you having to add water to it, you're making a slushy more than just the pure tea. Let's be honest, because some people want to be politically correct. If we did not put too much water in there, then there would be very little water coming out.
Right. Yeah.
So, if you want a true just worm tea, you don't put very much water in there, and it's only their excretions, I guess.
You know, sitting here thinking about this thermometer right here, now, I haven't read the instructions, okay? I would guess that you just stick this down the middle of the top of that thing, put the lid back on it, and every time you lift the lid up, you can see what the temperature is.
Well, I would assume that's probably what you should do.
That's probably what you should do. But, guys, I've been doing this for
without
years,
a thermometer.
Without a thermometer, and y'all see I still have worms. I mean, you take that, I'm going to stick it in that bed right there. And while I'm working on this, and let's just see. I'm going to take this and dump it into one of these beds right here. Peanuts need worm castings too. We pull this out of there and just dumped it. I wanted to wash this here out so y'all can see something.
So it's going to have more sludgy tea in it because...
Well, you're supposed to dilute it down anyway. You're not supposed to use it full strength. Trying to get this so y'all can kind of... This is a homemade one. For those of you who don't want to buy the worm tower and you're wondering how to make the homemade one, we're going to throw this in with the video. This is from Walmart. Just a plastic tote.
This says an 18-gallon, but it's according to what gallon you want.
Here's what you want to do. Take a 1/4-inch drill bit. Drill your holes around the top. Because now we go all the way around the top of it. Alright guys. See all them holes in there? That's 1/8 inch holes. That's what you want to do to a plastic tote. Now, you want to take the next plastic tote, you don't want to do nothing to it. But you want to put you like 2 or 3 bricks in the bottom of it. And that is to sit this on to hold it up out of the T. Now you can double it. You can take these bricks and stack them on top of one another and put 4 bricks in there. And you can put a spigot. You can buy these spigots on Amazon. You can drill your own hole in the bottom, just like these are done. And you can mount you a spigot in it, set it up on blocks just like I got, and drain your worm tea out.
For about 15, 20 bucks.
I don't know what a plastic tote costs no more. I haven't bought
No
one.
more than 25 bucks for 2 totes and some brick and a spigot.
This is probably a little over $100.
It's a couple of $100, I think.
Is it a couple $100 now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a couple of $100
on it, but that's a solution, guys. If for those of you who are looking for solutions. Now, here's what I do. Look at that. Ain't that some pretty stuff to use? Alright guys, if you're interested in one of the worm factories, there will be a link in the description below to be able to purchase one of these. And happy worm casting to you guys. And I tried to make it as simple as I can. You don't got to have all this fancy stuff. Sand, if you don't have the rock dust and pumice, works fine.
Plastic totes if you don't want the...
Plastic totes if you don't want to spend the money on these right here. It's an easy, simple fix. What you end up with is this gold sitting right here. Now I'm going to dilute this down and leave it sitting here. And every day I'll be using it around my stuff here. Now when I dilute it down, it's supposed to be 1 part worm tea to 4 parts water. So I'll just take this. We're going to leave it at that right there. I'll come out every day. This is what I have right here. I have a pint jar. I just take the pint jar, I'll come up here, I'll fill it up. I don't pour it on my plants. I just pour it right around the roots. I do that once a day now, and my plants are thriving. Thank you guys from Pecan Grove.